Now we're YouTube live for real. All right, so nobody has any requests today?
Total body.
Total body?
Stomach, always stomach.
Always core. Okay. We
Core.
can handle that. Let's start out on the mat. Start out on knees and elbows. Start with your knees about mat width apart. If you want to get your pads, you can bring your pads. Any questions at any point during class, always ask. Somebody's probably wondering the same thing. All right, so knees about as wide as the mat to start. You can put your pads outside the mat if you want, because we are going to open the knees wider in a minute. Tops of the feet on the floor. Okay, we're not going to talk toes, hands, or actually we'll go to elbows. Elbows are a little bit in front of shoulders, hips are just a little bit in front of knees. Tops of the feet aimed at each other, but not touching. Try to get the entire top of your shin and ankle to touch down to the floor. Okay, elbows a little further forward, Dorothy. A little longer stance, Austin, bring your elbows further forward. There you go. All right, good. Shift your body weight forward over your elbows. Let the weight of the chest drop down into the shoulder joints. You're purposely letting your chest drop and your shoulder blades slide together on the back. Let your head drop down. Good. Now I want you to press your hands. Try to feel the muscles in your chest engage a little bit. A little bit of pressure in elbows. Nothing has moved yet. Elbows try to pull the mat horizontally apart. Try to feel the serratus. Those are little muscles running along the sides of the rib cage. Bring your ribs back up by pressing down through hands and elbows. Dome the upper back. Shoulder blades come apart. And then drop your chest back down. All the way down. Austin, will do. You can spread shoulder blades, push down and lift your ribs up. Yep. And then drop back down. Shoulder blades slide together on the back. Keep the head dropped. A few more. Spread shoulder blades, lift the ribs up. Drop back down. Let your chest drop all the way down. Really release the chest. And bring it up again. Shoulder blades spread apart. There you go. Drop all the way down. Release the muscles in the chest. That's what lets you drop deeper into that shoulder stretch. Press your elbows to bring it up. Really dome the back now. Spread the shoulders. Now when you think of shrugging your shoulders forward, or you look up here, you're going to try to use the muscles in your chest to bring your shoulders forward toward collarbone. Not sinking down and using the neck. Staying up and using your chest. Sliding the shoulder blades up. Good. Suck your low belly up. Round your hips now. Drop your head. Start sitting back like that. Stay rounded for as long as you can. Good. Feel elbows stay stuck in one spot and then reach the hips back. Unround. Sit back as far as you can. Don't let elbows come back off the mat though. That's your stretch. Drop your head. Don't pick up the back of the head or you'll be flexing the neck. You can put your forehead down on the mat as far back as it will touch. Inhale. Exhale. If you keep the elbows stuck to the mat, the shoulder blades should be getting slid further up the sides of the ribs. Opening the lats, opening the back muscles, warming you up. To come forward, you're going to lift your head up first. Look where you're going. Spread your fingers. Hold the mat with hands. Pull down into the mat with elbows. Pull back on the elbows to use serratus to pull you forward. Pass your elbows with your shoulders. And then drop your head. Push through elbow tips to pick your ribs up. Spread the shoulder blades off your back. You should feel a dome in your upper back. Drop your chest back down. Let your shoulders slide together. Drop your head. You got to release neck muscles. Everybody, good job. Press through elbows. Pick your ribs up. Spread the shoulders out. Dome the back. Stretch the muscles. Keep the head a little dropped. So your neck muscles release. Drop your chest back down all the way to the mat. One more like that. Dome your upper back. Shift your weight further forward. This is going to be working your upper body too much, Dorothy. Bring it back up. Pick your ribs up. When you shift forward, you don't get to drop. Pick your ribs up higher. Now shift forward. Stay that high. Okay, don't drop. You can't drop. It gets heavy, I know. All right, again, bring it back. Go ahead and sit all the way back. Keep your elbows stuck to the mat. Reach the hips away from your elbows. Get as long as you can. Inhale here. Exhale, long and soft. Slow your breath. Soften your back muscles as you breathe. Inhale. Exhale, keep your head on the ground. Press into the top of the feet. You're going to roll heavy on your head, all the way up to the top of the head. Stay heavy. Stretching the upper back, thoracic spine, and the cervical spine. Okay, once you're forward, notice if your tail is tucked under and your hips are tucking toward you, untuck the hips. Reach your sitting bones back. That's the bones in the base of the body. Start rolling back really slowly. Reach the hips back to the wall behind you. Get longer. Come all the way to your forehead. See if you can't drop your chest a little deeper toward the mat. Do that again. Press into the tops of the shins to move you. That's what motivates your movement. Don't tuck your tail under and squeeze your glutes. Keep pressing to the top of the shins. Roll heavy on your head. Don't be afraid to put pressure in your head. This is headstand prep. Roll all the way to the top of the head and even toward the back of the head. Then notice if your tail tucks and your pubic bone is coming toward your face. Pubic bone should reach back. Lumbar spine is flat. Good. And then roll all the way back to forehead. Good. You guys finding the stretch in the neck? Yeah? Good. One more. Pushing the tops of feet to roll up. Once you're all the way toward the back of the head, lift your shoulders up away from the ears. Then unround your back. Reach your sitting bones back. Other way. Push back. There. Yeah, that. Keep the shoulders lifted. Breathe. If you feel comfortable here, lift your hands up and release the fingers behind you. At the low back, both hands interlace. Pick your hands up. Your wrists are pulling apart. Your fingers are holding together. Stretching the shoulders. Palms are facing you. Good. And reach up and back. Good. Slowly roll back. Your chin reaches for the mat slowly. You're using head and neck to control your descent. Hips reach back. Hands drop back. One more like that if you're comfortable with it. Press into the tops of the feet. Roll up toward the top of the head. Lift your hands up. Chin in. Roll your shoulders forward as your arms reach back. Release the hips though, no tucking. Good. And then roll all the way back. Hands to the mat. Spot one spot on the floor. Make sure you're not dizzy as you bring your head up. Good. Let's take the knees a little bit wider. Hopefully you can go outside of your mat with knees. Good. And then bring it forward, back to elbows. This time you're going to interlace the middle three fingers. Keep your pinkies long. Interlace the middle three fingers. Keep the thumbs touching. Open the knees as wide as you can. Think frog. Okay? And then, no, this is easy for you. And then shift your body forward quite a bit. I want all of your weight out of your low body. Let your hips hang toward the mat. Good. Okay, now don't go too far. It's going to get real hard that far forward. Okay? Now push your elbows. Lift your ribs up by pressing down through all the way through the pinky side of the hand, the wrist, the whole thing pressing down. Spread your shoulders out. Drop your head. Think of your chin as coming up into your own throat to pick your ribs up higher. Good. Hold that. Good. And then let your hips release. Let your belly release. Let your chest release down. And start sitting back until your belly is scraping the ground. Big stretch in the hips. Don't go so far that your tail turns under. Okay. Breathe. Come back forward. Think of your ribs and belly scraping the ground until your shoulders pass elbows, and then all with upper body. You can't tighten hips. They're stretching. Push through the elbows. Spread your shoulders. Chin in and up to your own throat like you're picking ribs up higher. You should feel your pecs right now. A lot of chest. And then let your hips release. Belly drops to the mat first. Then chest starts dropping to the mat. Then you sit back. Belly scraping floor, ribs scraping the floor. Good job. How are we doing? One more. Nobody's talking. Must be a big stretch. Come forward. Press through elbows. Pick up ribs. Drop your head. Keep your hips released. Don't let the hips help. No squeezing the glutes and pulling your pubic bone forward. Let that go. All the weight's in your upper body. Let the belly drop first. Then the ribs. Then sit back. Knees bending out to the sides. Belly scrapes the ground. Very good. And breathe here. Go ahead and put your forehead down if you can touch. Ribs or chest down if you can touch. Good. And then come back forward. Pick up your ribs. This time walk the knees in. Come out of that stretch. Good. Very good. All right, let's grab your orange bolster. Put that at the top of the mat. Going to do a little more shoulders. Okay, so this one, this is the shoulder stretch. We haven't done it for a little while. This is the one, if you don't keep the right outer spiral, if you don't keep the right rotation in the arm, you feel a lot of almost pain from here to here because you're resisting the stretch. Okay, so it's really important in this stretch. Your outer spiral in the arms, which means your biceps will face up toward the ceiling. Okay, this rotation in the hands goes with that spiral, palms in, as opposed to down, right? But you could make this happen from your wrists. So you want to keep thinking of rolling the shoulders out and down, like your collarbone broadens. Elbows on your bolster, hands in prayer, line up all the knuckles. These two thumb knuckles at the bottom of the hand are really going to press into each other. That's going to help engage the chest and actually hollow your collarbone. That's pecs pulling and folding you in half. That also will start stretching the upper back by spreading shoulder blades more. Keep the tops of the feet in the mat. Knees are pretty far back. Further back, for most of you. All right, little test. When you sit back, if your ribs can touch your thighs, your knees are too close. Sit back, test it. Okay, good. All right, come forward. If you need more space, walk the knees back. Elbows are pretty close together. The closer, the bigger the stretch, so don't go crazy with that. Shift your body weight forward over the elbows again. If you hadn't noticed, we're warming up upper body first. Press down through elbows, pick up the upper back by spreading your shoulder blades. Then drop back down. I want you to really feel your shoulder blades spread off the back. Let the head release, or the shoulder blades won't spread. Tracks are in the way. Drop back down. One more time. Push through the hands and elbows. Push those two thumb knuckles into each other. Feel how that helps you fold your collarbone in half. Good. Drop your head back through your arms. See if you can sit back and bring your head past your bolster. This is the stretch in the shoulders. Good. See if you can get your head to the floor. You can't touch the floor. You may need to put a block there, something your head can rest on. Now bend your elbows. Bring your hands, your thumbs, up to your thoracic spine. Make sure elbows are on the bolster. If you want to walk them further forward, you can. Okay, go ahead and sit your hips back now. Keep the elbows on the bolster. You should feel the sides of the body getting stretched longer, the serratus, which we work a lot. We're getting pulled. The lats are getting pulled. Nothing should hurt in the top of the shoulder. Okay, now press through the tops of the feet to start to come up. Your big toes touch, but I want heels open. Heels open, knees pulling open on the mat. Roll up, round your hips. Okay, once hips are rounded, press through elbows, round your upper back, shrugging shoulders up. Good, now drop the head back down first, then unround the hips, sit back. Okay, keep your elbows there one more time. Press through tops of the feet, lift low belly, rounding the low back. Then press through elbows, try to round upper back. Shoulder blades slide up the ribs. Use the muscles in your chest and get your collarbone coming to your chin. And then drop the head back down. Drop your hips all the way back. Good. Keep reaching sitting bones back. Your knees should feel like they're pulling the mat horizontally apart. Your heels should be pulling open. Lift a little bit in the pelvic floor. Think Mula Bandha. For women, it's like a Kegel exercise. For men, it feels like pulling member up into the body, into the apple core, middle of the core. Then push that back out again. That's a strange one. Feels like you're pushing out, but you know a better way to say it. Do it again. Pick up Mula Bandha. And then anti-Mula Bandha. Push out. Hips reach further back. Good. Now reach your hands forward. Bring your head back up through the arms. How are we doing? Everybody find it? Nothing hurts here? Yeah? Okay, good. Bring your hands up to your bolster. Good? Alright, let's turn your right hand backwards. Let your fingers come off the back of the bolster if you know your hand is really tight, right? If you know that your hands are easy and loose, go to the floor. Get rid of your bolster and just go to the floor and turn the hand backwards. If you're really easy in this, just go ahead and go to both of them. If not, do one at a time. If you're doing one, start with your right. I'm going to cue the right. Drop your chest down into the shoulder girdle, let your head hang. Push through both hands, the one that's in the stretch and the one that's not, if you have one and the other. And then pressing through hands, pick your ribs up, spread the shoulder blades. Good. Lift your low belly now. Separately pick low belly up. Think of Mula Bandha. Lifting member up, lifting Kegel up. And then unround your hips first without losing pressure in the hands. Then drop your chest down, drop into the serratus. Drop the head. One more time. Don't let your hips help your hands and ribs. Spread shoulder blades to pick your ribs up high. Feel chest engage. Lift low belly separately, lifting pelvic bowl up and back. Unround the hips first. Get long in your core, then drop chest into shoulder girdle. Good. We're on right hand. Roll back in your right hand, bending the elbow, stretching the hand. Good. Roll it forward again. Try to get knuckles to touch down, then base of the hand. One more time like that. Bend the elbow back, bend the fingers back, roll back, and then roll back forward. If it's excruciating, it's wrong. You need to be on your bolster or otherwise propped. Okay, now roll all the way out of the stretch. One finger at a time, heels off the mat. Come onto the knuckles. Don't tuck your fingers into a fist or you'll squish the top knuckle. Just keep the knuckles flat. Good. And then that one, if you're in a stretch with both hands, put it back into the stretch. If you're not, take it out of the stretch, put your left hand into the stretch. Okay. Go ahead and drop down in your shoulder girdle. Let your shoulder blades slide together. Let your head drop. Neck totally hanging and release. Belly hanging, hips hanging. Now don't use your hips. Press through both thumb knuckles in your hands. Lift your ribs up. Spread the shoulder blades. Drop the head in. Lift your low belly. Lift the pelvic bowl now. And then unround the hips. Separately drop the chest down into the shoulder girdle. Really stretch the neck. Keep dropping chest. One more time. Bend the elbows a little bit this time. It's going to deepen the stretch. Feel fingers spreading, knuckles in the floor. Pressing through hands. Spread shoulder blades to pick up ribs. Lift your low belly to pick up pelvic bowl. Stretch the back. Really pressing the hands away. And then unround the hips. Let your back release. Drop your chest down into shoulder roll. Good. Okay, roll back through that left hand. Bend the elbow back. Try to get your forearm parallel to the ground. And then as you roll forward, get the knuckles to touch as much as possible, then roll to the base of the wrist. One more, two more actually. Roll back, bending back at the fingers. Good. Notice if your hips are holding, glutes are squeezing, and the tail's tucked under. Let that go. Roll back through the stretch. One more time. Roll back through the knuckles. Good. Peeling the fingers off one at a time. Come onto the knuckles. Now both hands on your knuckles. Good. Staying on the knuckles, thumbs forward. Fingers are not squished. They're flat, right? Inner spiral, your arms to your biceps face each other. Right? Biceps face in. This is going to help you engage your pecs. Spread your shoulder blades. Feel your chest engage more. Your collarbone is not attached to your ribs, so it should feel like it's hollowing and coming away from the ribs. Good. Chin in a little bit. Now lift low belly up to round the pelvic bowl up and back. Keep your glutes released. Don't squeeze glutes together. Let that go. Now you're going to sit back a little bit. Keep this rounded. When you come back about halfway, you're going to hold. That's going to be your quads, keeping you from sitting. Now everybody hold there. Look up here. You're going to unround the hips by dropping sitting bones back, but don't sit down. Then you're going to round them back under. Unround the hips. You're keeping quads engaged, but releasing hips. Not easy. Round and back under. Lift low belly. Dig through knees. Keep pressure in tops of feet. Unround your hips. That's it. And then round sitting bones back under. That comes from lifting low belly. Sit further back. Walking up, twist back further. There you go. Feel your quads starting to light up. Okay, unround your hips. Sitting bones back. Totally unround. Big cat cow. Yep. Now lift low belly. Push to the tops of feet to round back under. Low belly. Drop your head. Good. Unround your hips. Sitting bones back. Good. Quads should be talking. Push to the tops of feet. Roll low belly under. And bring it back up. Good. How we done? Nice feel the quads there? So that is all about engaging quads, but letting go of the muscles in the hips and glutes. Walk it forward. Start with elbows on the bolster. This time bring your elbows off the back of the bolster. You're going to start turning on low body more. Okay, you're digging elbows kind of under the bolster, so when you push forward, it's stuck to your mat. So we're going to put a decent amount of pressure there, right? You can interlace all the fingers if you want, or keep the hands in prayer. Whatever you're doing, these two thumb knuckles are still going to press because we want to find chest. Before you come up to your dolphin, sitting bones reach back, chest coming back. I want you to feel your ribs come back and your shoulder blades slide up the side of the rib cage. That same feeling we had when we stretched. And then bring it back forward. Okay, keep your head up as you do it right now. You look at the mirror at yourself if you want. Slide your shoulder blades up the back, and then come back forward. Okay, now tuck your toes. You should be able to keep your sitting bones up. Everybody, remember that talk we had about the hamstrings. I want you stretching the top there. Not the part of the hamstring that attaches to the back of the knee. In order to stretch here, you can't let your hips curl under. You have to keep sitting bones up. So when you push back, you're going to lead with sitting bones up, face butt up. There we go. All right. Now go ahead and drop your head back through your arms as far as you can without tucking your tail toward your face. Keep your sitting bones reaching up and back towards the bones of the base of the buttocks. Unlock your knees, and your sitting bones will be able to reach higher. There we go. Yep, that's it. Slowly lower the right heel down, but don't let that sitting bone curl under. That's it. Switch. Lower your left heel down, bend the right knee. Don't let that sitting bone curl under. Sitting bone up. Glute up. Switch. Right heel reaching down. Sitting bone still up. Switch. Left heel reaching down. Sitting bone still up. Switch. Right heel down. Hold. No more sitting bone up. Let your left knee drop. Try to bring it all the way toward the mat, keeping right leg straight. Switch. Bring it back. Bend the right knee. Try to drop it all the way toward the mat. And then bring it back. Good. Slowly lower both knees down to the mat. Come back up. Good. You can actually sit back on your heels now. Hands can hold onto the bolster. Drop your forehead to the mat. Breathe. Good. One more step. Bring it up. Any questions? You guys feeling the right thing here? Everybody feeling neck and shoulders too much? We're good. Okay. Elbows dig into bolster. And really feel, when you start, kick your ribs up to neutral. They're not domed, right? But you're not totally dry. You're neutral so that you can maneuver your ribs within the shoulder blade. Then sitting bones go back. As your hips pop up, your head drops back. Try to walk feet in until your heels are pretty close to the mat, whatever that is for you. Keep your ribs coming back toward your thighs. Bend your knees a little bit to keep your sitting bones high. Let's just hold this for a second. Keep those thumb knuckles pushing into each other and think of shrugging your shoulders to your chest. So your collarbone coming up to your throat. to your neck. Push into elbows to find that, and then let that go, let your head drop. So try that one more time. Try to shrug shoulders, bring your shoulder blades up the side of the ribs, and then let that go, drop back down. Good, try to pin the back of the head against your bolster, and then start coming forward to stretch the neck just a little bit. Breathe if you're not, slow your breath, calm your brain. And then see if you can slowly lower your knees, still in that neck stretch. Let the back go when your knees touch down. Keep stretching the neck and thoracic spine by pushing with feet softly. And then sit all the way back. Untuck your toes. And go ahead and come to child's pose. Arms come back behind you. Palms facing the ceiling. Tops of the hands on the floor. Forehead resting on your mat. Good job. Breathe. One more long, soft breath here. Go ahead and interlace the fingers behind you. If you're not sure what this key means, look up here. You're going to keep the fingers scissoring into each other, but pull your wrists apart. You're trying to make one flat line in your hands from wrist to wrist. Then you're going to pick your arms up as high as you can, rolling your shoulders forward. Your ribs are still resting on the thighs for now. So try not to lift it up. Okay? Now if you want to go further, roll on to the top of the head to lift it up. Drop the hands forward. Let gravity help you stretch your shoulders. Try to straighten the arms a little bit more. Okay, slowly release your hips. Come back, but leave your arms up for as long as you can. Very good. And come all the way down. Let the elbows hang. Hands are still interlaced. Inhale. Soften the hips. Soften the ribs. One more time. Press into tops of feet to motivate your movement. When you're about halfway up, hold. Then pick the arms up. See if it's not easier to drop them forward from there. Then roll on to the top of the head a little bit more. Keep arms dropping forward. Reach the hips back first. Slowly, really slowly come down. And bring your arms all the way back. Good. Hands to the mat, right by your knees. Gonna roll to the top of the head. Your elbows should end up at a 90-degree angle once you're on the top of your head. If you don't want to cultivate a headstand practice, you can skip this. Tuck your toes. Come up on your feet. All your weights, not all your weight, but a good deal of weight is in your head. Okay, so hips up in the air, knees off the ground. Weight is on your head. Okay. Lift your shoulders away from your ears. Okay. Bend the knees to come back down whenever you need to. Good. How are we doing? Let's do it again. I want to watch. Bend your knees to come back down. Good. All right, everybody roll to the top of your head. Hold, hold. Everybody hold. All the way to the crown of the head. Come up, come up, come up. Forward, 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 forward. There. Good. Just hold. Now reach your chin back. Roll back toward your forehead a little bit. Okay. Now go the other way. Chin in. Come toward the back of the head more. Good. You're going to find a sweet spot in between those, and that is how your head makes adjustments for the alignment of your spine. That's really important in headstand. Find your sweet spot. Should be more toward the back of the head than the forehead. Come forward, Austin. All right, and then go ahead and push into your feet. Pick your hips up. And once you're there, pick your shoulders up your body, away from your ears. Good. Now reach your sitting bones up to the ceiling, butt higher. Walk your feet in a little bit. Sitting bones up. Good. No rounded upper backs. Think of your chest going back towards your knees. Chest back toward the knees. Elbows in. You should be able to see your elbows. Elbows in. Slowly lower back down. Very slow. Staying right on that same spot on your head. Don't roll on your head while you lower your knees. And then roll all the way back to your forehead. Good. Let your head release. Don't pick it up right away. Okay. Untuck your toes. Come back to your child's pose. Very good. All right, go ahead and bring your hands by your face, bring it up, spot one spot on the mat, make sure you're not dizzy. All right, good. So everybody looks pretty good. Check up here. Your headstand practice is all about this. Once your hips come up, your shoulders lift up, and you're trying to stack the hips over the ribs. The ribs are going that way. If you do this, you're never going to do a headstand. See how my ribs are behind my head, my neck is crunched, right? So you're practicing just having weight in the head, picking your shoulder blades up. See how long the neck gets. A lot of people want to round the ribs though when they do that. You'll never have a headstand practice here. See the difference? Your ribs reach back under the hips as your hips come up over your ribs. You guys see that? This goes back. So all the practice we're doing of bringing ribs toward thighs, that motion, that's how your hips come over your ribs under your hips. Does that make sense? It's a little bit of an upper back bend. and you're pulling from up here. All right, good job. Let's get rid of the bolster. Good job, you guys. Everybody's gonna have a headstand practice for the year. All right, hands to the mat.
I used to do that years ago, but I remember it now.
You're gonna do it again. It's fine, no worries. Okay, hands to the mat. Go ahead and spread your fingers out. Hands should be pretty well warm. Tuck the toes, same posture, sitting bones up and back to come to your down dog. Take your feet about 3 inches apart or so. Keep reaching, sitting bones up. Everybody unlock your knees. I don't care if your heels can go flat. Take your sitting bones higher toward the ceiling, and the same thing I just demonstrated, ribs back, stretch your shoulders. Use your shoulder stretch to help bring your sitting bones higher. That's it. Now reach your right heel more for the mat. Let your left knee bend, but don't let that hip hang down. Keep both sitting bones reaching up. Just stretching one hamstring at a time. Good? Straighten the left leg, let your right knee bend. Reach the left sitting bone up to the ceiling. That means you're kind of arching the back. Good? And bring both heels down. Take your left leg straight back and up. Press into the inner right foot. Roll your left hip open on top of the right. And then roll your left hip all the way back down. Think of the left frontal hip coming toward your right groin. Your knee should face right. Left knee faces right. There you go. Good. Reach through your right heel. Try to get it to touch down. Push down in the right heel. Roll your left hip up. Drop your chest back deeper. Stretch that right hamstring and calf. Reach your heel for the ground. Good. There we go. Slowly lower your left hip down. Reach that right heel for the ground. That's it. Dropping the hip. Good. Reach your right heel for the ground first. Then try to reach your left hip up. That's it. Use the weight of the leg being up to drop your right heel. That's the point. Bend your left knee a little bit. Drop the heel more. Good. And bring it all the way down. Okay, right leg straight back. Keeping your hips square. Reach down through your left heel. Roll up in the right hip. Good. Roll your right frontal hip down like you're going to put the right hip into the left groin. Good. Roll it back up again. Open the hips. Get that left heel down if it's not. Once that right leg is back there, use that weight to drop the heel. Roll your right hip down. Good. Roll it back up. Inhale. Exhale, roll the hip down. Good. Now try to touch the top of the right foot as far back on the mat as you can. Keep dropping left hip back, right hip forward. That should stretch your left hip. You guys feel it up? Okay. Now reach the foot back, keeping the hip low. Then roll it back up again. Good. You can point, flex, or point the foot that's in the air, but it's not dead. Okay, roll that right hip back down. Let's try the left foot. How are we doing? We got one more set. Left foot back. Reach the foot back. Touch the top of the foot on the floor. Really reach it back. Right heel to the ground. Roll the left hip up. Now when you roll it down, you're going to roll it all the way down. Left frontal hip coming into right groin. And try to touch the top of the foot as far back as you can. Push yourself back. Good. And then roll it back up. Good. You guys feel that hip stretch? Bring it all the way down. Good. Come over the toes. Come down to the knees. Very nice. Good. Hands way out in front. Tucking toes. Sit back. Forehead into the mat. Breathe. Good. Walk your hands back next to you. Keep the toes tucked. Bring the upper body up. Good. Little bit of feet. Okay. Keep your toes tucked. Hands on the mat. And then keeping the ball of the foot right where it is. Don't let it slide back at all. You're going to walk your knees further back to get the toes tucked a little bit more. So you get more of the ball of the foot onto the mat, I should say. And then very softly sit back on your heels to stretch your feet. Good. Okay, once you're there, try to get your inner feet to touch if it's not already. Okay, press into your hands to pick your ribs up into the back body. Lift your low belly, roll your sitting bones under. Feel like your sitting bones are scooping forward. Then go the other way, drop the ribs into shoulder girdle, let your belly spill out, sitting bones go back. So you should have some movement in the hips here. Lift your ribs up by spreading shoulders, lift low belly, roll sitting bones under. And then drop ribs forward first, spill the belly, roll sitting bones back. Good. Come to tens of fingers, fit your knees up and back. Good job. Open the knees, fit your body between them, drop heels toward the mat. Good. Try to get your heels as low as you can, hands out in front. You can flatten or tent. You're going to try to drop your hips back as far as you can. If your heels don't touch down, that's fine. Don't go far back. Don't go so far back you can't get back up again. Okay, your arms are counter reaching forward, your head's dropped in. Look up here. You're going to press into the feet, pick your butt up a little bit, hips away from heels, drop back down, releasing your hips. Good. And then one more time, hips away from heels, low belly back, drop it back down. Drop your head through the arms too. Use the feet, shift your weight forward, come high onto your toes. Now try to touch your knees right under the armpits. Bend your elbows toward the mat. They're gonna hover an inch above the mat. Yes, this works your triceps. They don't get to rest. There we go. Knees hug in on your arms. Arms pull out against your knees. Slide your knees down to elbow tips. Big stretch in the feet. A lot of work in the arms. Elbows should be an inch off the ground, maybe 2. Slide your knees back up to armpits. Do it again. Keep those elbows hovering over the mat. Slide knees down to elbow tips. Hold. Knees squeeze in on elbows. Elbows pull out on knees. Look up here if you don't know this one. Drop chest into shoulder girl. And then pick it back up. Spread the shoulder blades. Drop chest into shoulder girl. Pick it back up. Spread shoulder blades. Use core. One more. Drop chest into shoulder girl. Pick it back up. Slide the knees up. Pick your hips up. Put the knees right into your armpits. Bending your elbows. You're going to rest the knees on the upper arm. Shift forward. You don't have to come all the way onto the toes, but you have to bring your hands back enough so that your knees can rest on the back of the arm. Then you pull your shoulders back to send sitting bones up, and your collarbone reaches forward. Maybe you just stay there, play with that. If you want to try to lift the feet up and come into your full posture, you can straighten your arms a little more too. Breathe wherever you are, and bring it down. Good. Straighten the legs up. Come to fingertips. If you know you're tight in your hamstrings, get blocks. Grab cork blocks for this. If you're not tight in your hamstrings, you don't need the cork blocks. You can go either on second level, or you can even go all the way up to third level. Doesn't matter. Don't leave them. Sorry. Okay, so here's what it looks like. I'll do a health block. All right. You're going to 10 fingers, even if you know you're flexible in hamstrings, come really high onto your toes. Try to also lift the toes off the mat. So I shouldn't say on the toes, you're on your metatarsals. Okay, watch the movement through the hips. You're going to lower your right hip down to lower the right heel, and then come back up. There's no bend in the knees. Lower your left hip down to lower the heel, and then come back up. It's a staggering in the hips. Lower the hip, come back up. It's a lot of work in the feet, decent amount of work in the hips. If you're having trouble feeling the movement in the hips, stack it up. Actually, everybody stack it up. Bring it up. See a lot of rounded backs. Stack it up. All right, here we go. Flat back to do this now. Drop the left heel down, keep the right hip up. Come back up. Drop the right heel down, left hip stays up. It's a staggering in the hips. Bring it back up. No bending and straightening of the legs. Drop the hip down, bring it back up. Right hip down, bring it back up. Good. Slowly lower both heels. You can bring blocks back if you have blocks. They'll be on second level behind you. Fingers facing back. Pull your blocks forward to round your body into your legs. Good. Bend your elbows straight back. That'll wrap your serratus and your shoulder blades around your ribs. Your blocks should be a little bit behind the feet, not much. Bend the knees as much as you need to here to connect your ribs with your thighs and pull your head in. Shoulders lift away from ears though. Don't lose your neck. Breathe. Start straightening the right leg a little further back. Keep your left ribs, or your ribs on the left leg. Bend the knee, switch. Start straightening the left leg a little further back. Keep your ribs on that right leg. Bend the knee back in, switch. Right leg further back. Keep ribs on the left. Bend the knee, switch. Good. Both legs as straight as you can without rounding your back. Drop the head down. Lift the shoulders up. Breathe. Good. Okay, move the blocks forward or off the mat, whether or not you, depending on where you need them. Heel toe your feet wide, about as wide as the mat for now. And then you're just going to shift to the right hip, and then shift to the left hip. Legs stay straight. I just want you to feel that your legs stay straight. I just want you to feel that rolling through your hips. Good. That's how your hips work. If your SI joint is not fused, and you actually have 2 separate hips, they should be able to roll back and forth. It's not a wagging of the butt, so the hips stay together. It's a shifting of your hips. All right. Good. Let's go ahead and heel toe the feet wide then. Off your mat. I want your heels wider than your toes. So your feet are not turned out to the sides. It's heels a little wider than toes. Drop your chest down into your shoulder girdle. I want your back flat or even arched. So if you're tight in your hamstrings, you are on blocks here. At least on second level. Perfect. Yeah. Your chest should be able to drop down. Bend the knees a little bit. Keep your sitting bones back. No rounding in the hips. No rounding in the low back. It's almost like a football stance. Only stranger. Okay, go ahead and drop your hips a little further back. And then go ahead and come back up. Now straighten the legs. Push through the hands, the thumb knuckles especially. Spread your shoulder blades. Drop your head in. Lift your low belly. Bend the knees forward. Lift low belly even higher. Dome the back more. Stretch your back. Round back now, round back. There you go, yes, drop your head in. Now pull the knees toward each other. You're gonna roll your right knee in and down, like you're trying to kneel. The right knee down, then bring it back up. Roll your left knee in and down, right hip back. Bring it back up. Now pull both knees in, lift your low belly, lift your mula bandha, pick the member up or the cable up, and then look up here if you haven't done this one. You're gonna unround the hips, reach sitting bones back, keeping knees pulled in, and then knees pull in, bring hips under ribs. Do it again, unround ribs, sitting bones back, unround hips. Good, and then low belly in, round hips back under. 2 more, keep knees pulled in, and you'll feel this in the front of the hips too, and then roll it under. Good job. Roll sitting bones back, move your blocks, walk your hands back forward. You can either heel toe it in or hop it in. Okay, walk your hands back to your down dog. Feet about 2-3 inches apart, chest back, think of ribs coming toward the heels. Sitting bones up, we've been practicing that a lot. Hamstring should be a little more open now. Good. Okay, and then you're going to shift your weight forward, lift your low belly, come toward a plank, but keep your ribs really high up in the shoulder girdle. Ribs up, push down. That's it, dome the upper back. Good, now drop your chest down, shoulder blades come together. Then dome the upper back, pick it up. Pick up your low belly, come super high in the hips. Drop your chest back, keeping heels really high. It should be easier for you to pick your sitting bones up with your heels this high. Take your right leg straight back, roll the hip up and open. Chest back more, sitting bone up higher. Keep your right leg to the right, you should be able to see it, don't take it left. Slowly lower your left heel down, all the way to the mat. Left heel lowers. Good, come all the way back up on the toes. Good, slowly lower the left heel all the way down, chest back further, and bring the right leg down. Good, come onto the toes of both feet.
Whoa,
What's that?
something just fell from
Your
above.
lamp just fell down from the ceiling. I almost took somebody out.
My light on the outside?
Yeah.
What's the landlord's light?
It's the
I
light
think I would still be in trouble. Okay, somebody's liability insurance better cover it. That's lovely. All right, let's take it back and up. No breaks. Come up higher.
The good news is your car had almost hit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's good or bad. Lift your sitting bones up. Bring your left leg up and back. Keep that right sitting bone up. Stay high, stay high. Drop your chest further back. Bring the ribs under the hips. Slowly lower the right heel down to the mat, all the way down. Nice. Bring it back up. Come high on the toes. Come on, let that top leg up. Take some weight out of it. Lower the heel to the mat. Good. Roll your left hip down. Good job. Feet on the floor. Push high into both toes. Bend the knees a little bit. Sitting bones higher. Chest back more. Good. Butt up. Now lift your low belly up. Lift your ribs up and shoulder girdle. Push the mat away with those 2 thumb knuckles at the base of the hand. Come forward and then unfold. Open the chest. Drop your hips. If you feel this in your low back, something's wrong. Shoulders forward to come up. Lift low belly. Pick up your hips and ribs. Sitting bones up and back. Lower your heels. Very good. All right, let's shift forward again. Keep your ribs high. Step your right foot forward outside your hands. Turn your right toes out. Drop your hips down. Good. Okay, if you need blocks, grab your blocks here. Okay. All right, go ahead and press through the right foot to take sitting bones back. You're going to want blocks here. Under your hands. Go. Okay. All right, go ahead and bend the front knee a little bit out to the side. Drop your back heel back a bit. Start dropping hips a little lower. Drop your chest down into shoulder girdle. Bend your elbows straight back, pulling them together. Come down toward chaturanga in the arms. Keep dropping deeper into the stretch. Good. Push with hands and foot at the same time to come up. And then try to straighten the right leg further back. Let's do it again. Bend the front knee out to the side. Keep the back leg strong. Heel drops back. Drop your chest down into shoulder girdle. Bend your elbows toward each other. Drop the chest down. Good. Breathe. Push through the hands and foot. Bring it up. Re-straighten that front leg. Good. Spin your back heel in. Heel toe your right foot in. So the right foot lines up with the heel of the back foot. Grab a block if you don't already have one. If you know you're tight, come to third level to open up the chest. If you don't need a block, you can tent the fingers on the floor or go flat right hand on the floor. Open up the chest. Good. If you're not on a block, you better be able to flatten the bottom side of the body. Sitting bone back, ribs open and forward. Good. Everybody, pick your ribs up on the bottom side. Shoulder blade comes down. Use these obliques. Then drop your hip back, ribs forward. Do it again. Round and crunch that bottom side. Push into your right heel. And then drop it back down. Good. Bring your arm in line with your body. Try to drop your left hip forward, right hip back. Good, and then open it back up again. Do it again, arm in line with body. Drop left shoulder and hip forward. That should stretch the back of that right hip pretty significantly. And then roll it back open. One more time, drop left hip and shoulder forward. Hands to the mat if you're on the mat, hands to blocks if you're on blocks. Spin to the toes of the left foot. Drop it all the way down to the mat. Good job. How are we doing? Back knee down, top of the back foot on the mat. Everybody's alive? Okay, let's bring your right hand to the knee first. Think of pushing the knee forward away from you. Center your body weight over that front foot. Weight is in your metatarsals. If your knee is behind your heel, there's no balance. And if your weight's back here, it's all in this knee. So drop forward. Right hand to the knee. Shift your weight over it. Left hand to the knee. Elbows out. Elbows out because I want serratus open and engaged. Ribs up and back. Now push through your front heel a little bit. Push through the top of the back foot. See if you can lift that back knee. That should just be quad, and then drop it back down. Keep that decent amount of pressure in the back leg. Lift Mula Bandha. Think pelvic floor up. But keep left hip forward, right hip back. Now bring your left arm up and reach your shoulder blade as far forward as you can. Now bring your right arm back to the left leg and reach. Good. So you're going to bring that left elbow to the right knee and hands in prayer. Good. You're going to really drop forward onto that front foot. Slide your left shoulder blade up like you're going to bring that collarbone. Twist the other way. Other elbow. Twist to me. Slide that left shoulder blade up like your collarbone's going to come to your jaw, lengthening the left side. Okay. Forward, stay forward, stay forward. Then push right hand into left. Pick your ribs back up again. Hollow your ribs back. Good. Drop into it. Left shoulder forward. Sit into your stretch. Push right hand into left. Pick it up. Good job. Hands to the mat or your blocks. Tuck your back toes. Step back. Down dog. Drop your chest back, head back. Breathe. Don't do down dog on 3 blocks. On 3rd level, it's too high. 2nd level or flat. Alright, good. Bring your left leg up and back. Come forward, knee to nose, come high in the shoulder blade, step outside the hand. Wiggle the right foot back if you're not long enough. Longer stance over deep. Drop down into your lunge, let your hips drop, the back leg strong. If you need blocks here, you can get them. Push through the front heel, digging the heel in. Take sitting bones back. Try to keep the back flat. Then go ahead and bend the front knee a little bit and open it to the side. Drop your right heel back toward the mat. Drop your chest down into shoulder blades. Bend your elbows back. Keep your serratus pulling back and the top of the head reaching forward as you lower into this stretch. That length in your core helps you. Push through the hands and the foot. Bring it up and back. Do it again. Bend the front knee forward, but keep your sitting bone reaching back. Open the knee. Drop chest into shoulder blades. Right heel is back. Bend your elbows. Keep the serratus engaged. Top of the head forward. Right heel reaching back. And come back up. Straighten the front leg. Last one. Bend the knee. Open it to the side. Sitting bone is back. Shoulder blades, or you're going to drop chest and shoulder. Go bend the elbows. Keep long through the top of the head and the heel. Then come all the way back up. Spin your right heel in and down. Heel toe your left foot in until your left heel is lined up with your right heel for now. Sometimes we do heel to arch, we're going to do heel to heel right now because I want you to go to roll that hip forward in a minute. Okay, go ahead and bring your right arm up to the ceiling, open chest, triangle. If you need a block, there's no problem with using it. Even if you don't need a block, you can use a block. Okay, if you're not on a block, or even if you're on a block, the bottom hip has to be able to drop back, the ribs long. If that's not happening and you've got a rounded bottom side, you need a higher block. Okay? Alright, here we go. Keep that sitting bone back. Now, crunch up the bottom side on purpose. Make a little archway under there. And then drop sitting bone back. So crunch the bottom side, dig through the left heel, and pull your shoulder blade down and your hip to your shoulder blade. Yucky, that's crunched. Open it up. It's obliques though. Do it again. Shoulder blade down. Now open it up. There's your stretch. Good. Bring the arm in line with the body. Drop the right hip and shoulder forward, left hip down. And then roll it back open again. Do it again. I want that whole right hip to come forward. Shoulder two. Pivoting a little on the back foot and roll it open. Guys, feel that stretch in your left hip? Right shoulder and hip come forward. Hand to the ground, spin onto the right toes. And step the foot back. Good job. Take your hips back, pedal it out. And then come on down to your knees. Very good. How are we doing? A little toasty? Oh, we still got half an hour. All right. Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of pigeon, a little bit more hips, and then we're going to move on. No more down dog and standing in front. All right, so you're going to bring your left foot forward. You can bring it outside the hand, you can tent fingers, or you can go back into plank if you find it easier. Heel toe the foot across until your foot's right behind the right hand. Then point your toes, try to put the top of the foot into the mat. Hands go flat, the knee comes forward and down. You're gonna pop your right leg up right away if it's not already. So you're gonna plank on the right side with the left leg across, okay? Find your plank with the right side and lift your ribs up by spreading shoulder blades. Push into the left knee, even though that's the stretching leg, lift your low belly up, round the back. Good. And then drop it back down, reach through the right heel, hands push the mat forward. How far back can you sit behind this shin? Do it again. Come forward. You can roll all the way over the toes if you have that. Pick your ribs up, pick your low belly up. Now roll the right frontal hip in towards your left groin. Roll it back open. Do that one more time. Right frontal hip in toward left groin. Knee a little left, just feel that stretch. Good, come back up. Roll over the toes, sit back as far as you can. If this is hard for you, what she's doing is good. Bolster under the hip. And I like the bolster instead of the block because the block under the hip encourages you to sit back out of the stretch. If the bolster's there, you can still roll that right hip forward and down, which is the goal, okay? Keep rolling your right hip forward and down. Stay tall with this posture for a minute. Walk your hands over to the left. Keep trying to drop your right hip toward the mat. Think of your right shoulder blade sliding forward, right hip rolling toward the mat. I don't care if your left sitting bone elevates a little. Okay, and then come back to the middle. Good. Come down over that. Very nice. Elbows on the mat in front of the shin. Press down through your elbows to pick up your ribs. Lift Mula Bandha, that's pelvic floor coming up. Then pull back on the mat with elbows, drag your ribs forward out of that hip, come back down. Do that one more time. Push through elbows, lift your ribs up. Inhale, drop your head in. Exhale, lift Mula Bandha, pull back with elbows, bring ribs forward, inhale. Very good. Go ahead and bring your elbows out to the side. Rest your forehead on the back of the hands if you can. If not, get a block so your head can rest. Doesn't matter how high you practice posture up, as long as it's linear, as long as it's even. You can give your elbows pressing the mat forward a little bit. Suck your low belly back to roll that left hip under more to the floor. Let that go. One more breath here. Make it soft, even. Whatever's holding that doesn't need to be, let's go. Walk your elbows over to the right further. As far as you can, try to line that foot up with your sternum if possible. Bring your left arm or elbow as far forward out of that left hip as you can reach. Breathe. One more breath. And then come back to the middle. Prop your right elbow on the ground right in front of the foot. Bring your left hand in front of the knee. You're going to very softly twist. Press into the right elbow, press into the left hand, twist your ribs to the left. Chin in a little bit, picking the ribs up out of that hip. Good, and then drop it back down. One more time, push into the left hand, push into the right elbow, pick your ribs up as you twist. Really push into your right hand, dropping your left hip back, or left hand, dropping your left hip back. And drop that down. Good. Go ahead and come onto the hands, tuck your toes, walk your back knee forward, retuck the toes, find your plank, and either step back to plank, or you can just put the knees down to come to side two. If your knees are down, you just bring the foot forward, 10 fingers. If you're in plank, it's similar. Heel toe the foot across, right foot across to the left side of the mat. Bring your knee forward and down, top of the foot to the mat, hands flat. Wiggle the left foot back until you're in a plank. Good, that's perfect. Does that feel good in the hip there? Yeah, that looks like really, really nice prop. Okay, keep dropping your left hip forward. Shift your weight forward. Come all the way to the toes. Maybe you can roll over the toes to the top of the foot. Push through the right knee. Push your hands. Round it up. And then drop the chest back down. Roll back over the toes. Reach back behind that shin. Sitting back. Good. Do it again. Press through the foot. Roll over the toes. Pick your ribs up. Round it up. Drop the chest back down. Roll your left hip into the right groin this time. Move over to the right a little more to feel that hip. And then on, tuck the toes, come on back. Sit back as far as you can behind that hip. Good. So Dorothy, if you want to do this, it's too much, you can go for that cheerleader's pose. Okay? You can go for the pose where you bend the knee and the back knee. Just come forward. But you got to do something. Yeah. and just come forward like that. There you go. You gotta stretch the hips. Yeah, feel stretching that hip?
Yeah.
Perfect. That's all you need. As long as you feel the stretch, you're there, right? Okay. Good. Staying high for now. You're trying to keep your weight behind this shin to drop the hips more. If you're really flexing your back and you feel your vertebrae are crunching, not it. Okay? Definitely not it. You want to keep your low belly back. Keep your hands pushing your weight back so that you're protecting that low back a little bit. Good. Walk your hands over to the right. Good. Try to twist your ribs to the right a little bit. Breathe. Good. And then walk your hands over to the left. This is easier, twisting away from the hip. Making some space in the hip. Good. Come back to the middle and come down to your elbows. Hopefully you've got a little bit of room in that hip. Good. Press down through elbows to bring your ribs out. Don't use your hips. They're otherwise occupied. They're stretching. And then think of digging elbows into the mat. Pull the mat back to bring your ribs forward out of the hips as they come down. Do that again. Press down through elbows. Spread your shoulder blades. Think Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor. Push the right knee down to the mat a little. Then pull back with elbows. Open ribs. Drag forward. Good job. You feel that pulling out of that hip a little deeper. Do it again. Press down through elbows. Spread the shoulder blades. Drop your head in. Chin lifts your ribs up. Think of your chin coming up into your Adam's apple. And then drag back with elbows, ribs come forward and down. Good. Rest on your hands if you can get there. If you can't get there, use a block under the forehead, whatever. Prop it up. Okay, elbows are wide. Feels really good actually if you do need to be propped to put blocks under elbows. Hands to elbows and rest on them. The little bridge you make in between the two. Alright, good. Everybody breathe. Elbows are going to softly press the mat forward to roll the hip back a little bit. Inhale. And as you exhale, just let that pressure go. Notice anything that's tensing. Try to soften. You need to engage the hips a little bit. You can feel like you're pulling knees toward each other, dropping right knee to the mat, and then let that go. And then let you get deeper. And when you're ready, walk over to the left with the arms. Forehead on the hands again. And you can either bring your right elbow as far forward on the mat as you can reach, or you can reach that right hand as far forward as you can reach, coming out of the right hip. Find your breath, slow, soft, even, no overstretching. You've got to feel muscles softening. You've got to feel a release. If everything's just gripping and tight and you're counting seconds to get out of the posture, you're being counterproductive. Bring it back to the middle. Left elbow to the mat or your blocks. Right hand to the mat in front of the knee. Pick up your right rib cage off the pelvic bowl. At the same time, you want to keep the pressure in that right hand so your right hip can roll back a little bit toward the mat. Good. Inhale. As you exhale, drag your ribs forward and down. Left hip toward the mat more. Do it again. Push through that left elbow, push through the hand, ribs open up, and then drag forward and down. Very good. One more time. Pick it up. And then forward and down. Thank you for hammering me. Both hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes. Walk the knee forward. Retuck. Come into your plank. And then either just take this foot out of it, come to knees, or step back into plank. Let's take one more down dog if you want it. Otherwise, come to child pose. Sitting bones up and back. Chest dropping back. If you've got a deep shoulder stretch, you can bring your head toward the mat. One big breath here. And then come on down. Good. How are we doing? Alright. Shoulders. Have a seat on your mat. Line up your blocks so they're even with the edge of the mat. Alright. I'm going to do shoulders by themselves. Don't have the knees pinned back, no hips with it today. If it's too big a stretch to have hands on the blocks, you can go to the mat. Try blocks first though. Okay, feet close. Turn around and face. Things easier down that side of the room. Feet close to your hips to start. Hands pressing into your blocks. Bring your hips to heels. Hips under you more. So you're pretty far away from your block. Come forward. Good. Okay. Then feet a little bit in front of you. Okay, good. Now your pinky should be on the outside of your block and your thumb should be on the inside, and you're really spreading the fingers across the blocks. Really active hands. Roll your shoulder heads forward. That should bring your shoulder blades wide off the back. As elbows open, hands turn in. Okay? Your blocks are stationary, so you can't actually turn them in, but you're trying to. As the shoulder blades widen, chin drops in. The weight of the head helps you drop the ribs further back into that stretch. You're trying to have a rounded upper back here. Okay, now let's check in with your hips. They shouldn't be gripping. Can you roll forward, pubic bone forward without using upper body? Pull upper body. And then roll back. Use your feet. Push the mat forward to roll pelvic bowl back. Okay, roll forward on the tailbone. Feet pull to you. Feet push away from you to pull the pelvic bowl back. Good. Feet pull to you a little bit. Put those toes down. I know you're in hip flexors. There we go. Push the ball of the foot away from you as much as anything. Good. Feet pull to you a little. Good. And then as you roll back, leave it there. Press into your hands more. Get taller. Make sure you're not shrinking into your neck. Keep the shoulders forward and down, neck long. Okay, now press into your arms to try to come all the way to straight arms. You'll feel a stretch in your wrist right away. Base of the hand can lift. Now roll separately all the way to sitting bones. Roll the shoulders back. Open up your chest. Shoulder blades come together on your ribs. Pick it up. Pick up your belly. Think moon up on the pelvic floor lifting, and then roll hips back first. Roll shoulders forward next. Elbows out to the sides. Chin in. Open the upper back. Open the low back too. Breathe. Everybody breathe. Soft and even. Good. Your shoulders shouldn't go behind and your elbows shouldn't go behind your hands. That's not it. Your shoulders should always be in front of your hands. If they're not, you need your hips a little further forward. Good. And maybe you don't sit back as far. But your shoulders don't come back. So in other words, when you're really into this stretch, the shoulders are forward, elbows are bending back, that's opposition. If your elbows bend back and your shoulders just give up and go back, that's not it. So keep the shoulders forward. As the elbows bend back, you're pulling open with the elbows to open the upper back and shoulder blades more. Good. Lean over into your right hand a little bit further. Lift the outer arch of your right foot, take your knees left. It's a twist. Suck the belly back out of the front of the hips. If you want to add weight, you can cross left ankle over right shin and pull across. Other one, bottom one over top. If you can get to the knee. Yep. And then pull across it. If you can't, don't worry. Bring it back up. Lean into your left arm. Bring your ribs left. It's a twist. Drop your knees to the right. That twist should happen in your core. The right knee, the bottom leg, the foot wraps around and pulls the knee across. There you go. Suck the belly back. Keep your hands strong, shoulders forward. Good. And uncross the leg, bring it to center. Press into your hands to come up. Roll forward on the sitting bones. Roll the shoulders back, open the chest. And then roll shoulders forward, hips back. Good. Come back. All right, let's turn the hands around. How are we doing? A lot of hands and wrists, right? Big stretch in your shoulders too. Okay, roll shoulders forward again, bend your
I
elbows
think
back.
you're trying to kill Austin.
Oh yeah, no, that's just hurt like no other.
Feet in a little closer. Bring hips to heels. Well, if he came more often, he wouldn't be hurt. Okay, feet out in front. Make sure shoulders are in front of your hands in this one. Really important. This is an easy one to cheat on and just drop back. You'll feel a huge wrist stretch, but you just feel collapsed. So shoulders forward as elbows bend back. Good. Okay, roll your hips forward. Make sure they're free. And then roll sitting bones under. Good. Do that again. Roll your hips forward. And then roll sitting bones under. Good. Press into your hands till arms go straight. Roll your shoulders forward, shin in. Roll all the way to sitting bones. Roll the shoulder blades back. Open the chest, get taller. Good. Roll your shoulders forward, hips roll under, bend your elbows back. Pull in your hands to your upper back and your upper back to your hands. Good. All right, go ahead and come on up. Bring your hands to the mat. Tuck your fingers and come to your knuckles, flat wrists. Good. Your fingers face you. Good. If you want to weight bear and come into bridge, you bring your feet a little closer. Open the chest, open the ribs to come up. If you don't want to do this today, you don't have to. Roll the shoulders forward to come out of it, low belly in, and bring your hips down. Good job. One more time if you're doing it. Or you can flatten out the hands if you prefer. Roll the shoulders back, open chest, lift your low belly, think mula bandha. And then bring the hips up, knees reach forward, open your chest a little more. And then roll shoulders forward, low belly in, drop the hips to the mat. Very good. All right, bring your sitting bones back, grab your strap. How are we doing? Feet into the strap. Your strap is maximum strength, not because we're using it like weightlifting, but because we're going to use it to bear some of your body weight. Okay, so make sure your strap is flat on the bottom of the feet, and then reach forward so you're holding pretty close to your strap. One strap in each hand. Good. Squeeze with the pinky side of the hand, so you're using the muscle on the pinky side of the hand. Here, not just that thumb muscle, but over here on the pinky side. Okay, squeezing into your strap a little bit. I want you to stagger your right sitting going further back on the mat and your left sitting going forward. Keeping that right hip back, draw your chest forward over the hip. Feel that stretch in the back of the hip? Yeah? Breathe. Let the head drop, let the shoulders drop. Just pulling with arms, elbows hugging in. Feel that in the back of the hip? Yeah. Okay, don't pull too hard. And then bring it back up. Switch. Pull your left sitting bone back. You should actually have the foot behind the right foot. Left sitting bone is staggered behind the right. So your hips are crooked. And then come forward. Think about lifting Mula Bandha. Ribs stay open. Don't just compress the upper ribs. Get long as you come forward. I don't even care if you come down at all. Think of going up and forward with collarbone. Good. You should feel a stretch in the back of the hip. That's the point. If you have that stretch in the back of the hip and the hamstring, you're there. Let your chest release. It's not what's pulling. Biceps are bending the arm. That's about it. Maybe a little bit of serratus. Breathe. Bring it back up. Good. Come to the middle. You're going to lean back just enough to feel the sitting bones, the bones at the base of the buttocks. Dig into the mat a little bit. And then use those, sucking the belly back to turn tail under a touch. Okay, slide your right sitting bone back, left sitting bone forward. Don't bend the knee. Don't pull from the back of the hip. Switch. Feel low belly helps you do this. Good. Both heels stay on the ground. Switch. As the right sitting bone goes back, left reach forward. Reach your right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. Good. And then switch. Left sitting bone back, right reaching forward. Left shoulder back, right shoulder blade forward. Suck the belly back. Good. Switch. Right sitting bone back, left sitting bone forward. Right shoulder back. Switch. Left sitting bone back. Left shoulder blade pulls back and down. Right shoulder blade comes forward and open off the back. Switch. Good. Start slowly coming back like this, trying to bring your low back more and more to the mat. Go at your own pace. Find that little back and forth. Make it a little bit of a twist in your lumbar. Okay, once your low back touches, you're going to stop with the hips and just hold. Chin in. Inner spiral your arms now, so the back of the fist face in. Good. Unlock the back, low belly sinking. Slowly roll the rest of the way down to the mat. Good. Once your upper back touches, roll shoulders open. And then roll the shoulders together. Back of the hands try to touch. Squeeze the arms in on top of the body. Bring your head up first. Just the head comes up. Back of the hands try to touch. Rounding the back. Chin in. Unlock your knees, especially if you feel like you're really tight. Yep. Suck the low belly back. Super slowly. Keep your shoulders lifted so your collarbones are hollowing. Good. Soften your low back. Good. When you come all the way up, I want you to pull sitting bones back on the mat. Open them up. Manually open them apart. And then pull with your elbows toward you, hands facing the ceiling, palms facing the ceiling. Bring your chest forward. We're trying to flatten the back. Good. Push your back of your knee down. Use your quads and your quads. Flexing the top of the leg. Push the back of the knee down. Feel like you're pulling heels apart on your strap. Sitting bones apart on the mat. Good. And then come on up. Okay. Just linear now. Sitting bones sitting in the mat. As you lean back, your back is flat. Then you turn your tail under, suck the low belly back. Perfect. Don't crush ribs though. Keep ribs a little open as low belly pulls. Once your low back pulls, then you start articulating thoracic spine and ribs can pull more. Inner spiral arms. So back of hand faces in. That helps you bring collarbone up. Really hollowing the chest. And then roll all the way back. Outer spiral arms, open the chest. Inner spiral arms, back of the hands in, head up. Roll up nice and slow. Chin in. Let your back release. No squeezing glutes. Let the glutes go. Coming all the way forward. Good job. And then come forward over the legs. Let your head drape wherever your stretch is. Don't pull hard right now. No pulling. Just let your back release. Let your head drape. Good. Breathe. And roll it up. Good job. How are we doing? Get ready to strap. Check in with your hands. They should be talking a little bit. Yeah, hands worked. Okay, you're going to tuck the fingers to the mat, catch the tips of the fingers in the mat, and then put some forward pressure into the hand stretch. If you bend your elbows down behind the hands, that'll give you the pressure you're looking for. Roll forward through the left hand, and then bend the elbow back, feeling it back, roll forward through the right. Bend the elbow back. Good, roll out of that stretch. Open and close a couple times. How are we doing? Good, yeah, okay. All right, let's go ahead and grab Yeah, you got a bolster. Just bolster. Okay. Make sure you actually do start at the top of your mat. I always say at the top of the mat, but actually start there. My mat's a little longer, I got plenty of room, but if you don't start at the top, as we scoop down and down and down, you're gonna run out of mat, and you need your bolster still on the mat for the end of the sequence. Alright. Now you're gonna grab your ball, put it right behind the low back, because you go ahead and have red and pink.
What's that?
You're
No,
gonna
I like pink.
you're comfortable with the pink. Alright, keep the ball against your low back to start. This is your measure. Take your ball a half roll back for most people. That should just clear your lumbar spine, just barely. And then it's right there under the floating ribs. And then when your head drops back, your block should be right under the base of the skull, right where the head meets the neck. Of course, I'm too far back. You can right say that and demonstrate your reach down here now. Let's try this again here. Okay. So that should feel like it's lifting up your rib cage. Okay. Now, once you're there, bring your tailbone under you more. Okay, so your low back is a little bit rounded, at least it's long, but your upper back is being arched by the ball that you're on top of. Your hips should be touching the ground, and then put your legs over the bolster, let them relax. Your bolster should be far enough away from you that you can see a couple inches of space between the bolster and your pelvic floor. Good, keep tailbone under. Alright, go ahead and grab your balls, one in each hand. Elbows rest on the mat, hands rest on the mat. Your elbows have to touch the mat. If they don't, you need a block under each elbow. Your elbows have to touch the surface. Your block should be far enough back that you can drop your chin down, flattening the neck down. Okay, I want you to feel like you're rolling your shoulders forward. Your chin will lift a little bit. Ribs come into the body. And then roll the shoulders back like you're trying to wrap the spine around the ball. Inhale. Chin is down. As you exhale, roll your shoulders forward. Keep exhaling until you feel your ribs start to close. Keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. Now notice if you're squeezing glutes and hips, let that go. Hips don't do anything from the waist down, belly button down, you're pretty much dead. Roll the shoulders back, chin down, feel the ribs open. Inhale. Start exhaling in this shape until you start to feel the natural draw in the ribs as they come together. Toward the end of the breath, roll your shoulders forward, your chin may lift a little. Let your hips go, they don't get the help. And then roll the shoulders back. Good, reach your arms straight out to the side. They should be ear height, resting on the floor. Okay, try to pull your shoulder blades together toward the spine. Then lift your hands and inch off the mat. Pull your shoulder blades apart. Reach out to the side. Pull shoulder blades together. They close in on the ball, close in on the spine. Then reach them apart. Shoulder blades slide off the mat. One more time, pull them together. Reach them apart. Back ribs are heavy in your ball. Slowly bring the arms up, literally millimeter by millimeter. You should feel nothing in your low back. You should feel chest, biceps, a little bit of core. Keep your hips released. When your balls get all the way up, you're just going to hold there with press to catch you if they're already there. Good. Let the balls touch. And then keeping the balls right above your forehead, you're going to let your shoulders drop down between the ball and the block. And then slide the shoulder blades off the back and reach your balls to the ceiling. Good. Drop the shoulders down again. Slide shoulder blades together. Chin down. Stretch your upper back and neck too. Slide shoulder blades up. Ribs come into the ball a little more. Slide shoulder blades down. Hold. Keep them there. Slowly take the balls back behind your head. Keep your elbows aimed at the ceiling. Chin down. Try to bring your chin toward your own sternum. Let your ribs open more. Now inner spiral your legs so your knees face the ceiling. Your quads, pop the foot up one at a time. That should just be enough quad. And then let it come back down. That should only have been quad. One more time, quads. Those are the muscles in the top of the thigh. Keep your balls coming up about halfway, ribs in. Then lift your low belly by pulling your ribs down into the ball. Lift your hips off the mat. Lift your hips up. Hold. Release your glutes. No squeeze in the butt. Good. Slowly drop hips back down. Totally release everything from the waist down. Let your feet drop too. Good. And then slowly bring the balls up from the serratus, from the muscles in the sides of the ribs. Elbows are in. Balls face each other. There you go. Okay, one more time. Slowly drop the balls back. Shoulder blades drop down into the well. Let your ribs open. Chin drops heavy. Keep the feet down. Reach the balls further back. Inner spiral legs. A little bit of quads, so lift the feet. And then lift up the hips by pulling the ribs down. Start pulling your purple balls all the way up from underneath the armpits. Underneath the shoulders, the serratus. There you go. Keep pulling from there. Hold when you get up. Keep that muscle underneath the armpit, the serratus in the side of the ribs, but then release your glutes, release your hips all the way back down to the floor. Good. Slowly take the arms back out to the sides where they started. Keep it even with your ears. Feel your shoulder blades come together near your spine. Good. See if you can slide the back of the handle on the floor. Bring the hands all the way up together behind your head. You'll feel rolling through the shoulders if you do. And bring it back out to the sides. Good. If it's too much with the weight, get rid of the balls. Good. Everybody get rid of one ball anyway. Bring the other ball up in between the hands. Keep the one ball in the base of the hands. Base of the hands trying to touch each other. Fingers face out like you're cradling the ball. You can close your fingers, keeping the base of the hand lifting up though. Now spread shoulder blades off the back. Really reach up. I want your chest to hollow. Collarbone, you should be able to see in the mirror coming off the ribs. Outer spiral arms so the biceps face you. Drop your arms forward. Your shoulders are going to stay up like that. Your arms are going to squish your own pecs or your boobs, whatever you've got. Bring your head up. Keep the back released. Slide your shoulder blades further forward. Suck the belly back. Good. No hips. No tucking hips. Let your hips go. Good. Now slide your shoulder blades back. Good. And then slide shoulder blades forward again. Your core doesn't move. Your spine doesn't move. Your shoulder blades slide back on the ribs. You feel ribs open and get long. And then slide your shoulder blades forward again. Keep your hips released. Nothing in the hips. Legs are soft. Good. Slide shoulder blades back. Nice. Get long. Lean back into your red ball. Let it take your weight. And then slide shoulder blades forward. Feel a little mula blend, a little pelvic floor. One more. Slide shoulder blades back. Good. Slide shoulder blades forward. Bring your arms up to about just above your forehead. So you should see right into the ball. Slide shoulder blades back here. Good. Shoulder blades come into your red ball. Lean into red ball. Slide the shoulder blades forward. Good. Do it again. Slide shoulder blades back. Keep hips released. Your glutes are not squeezing. Slide shoulder blades forward. Feel the serratus. Bring it a little higher. If you can do it without going into your neck, your head is not part of your shoulder blades. You're going to take the arms past your head. Keep the head forward. Feel your core work. As soon as you start to feel your neck contract, you're done. Bring it back forward again. Good. Slide shoulder blades up. Really open the back. Slide them back down. Slide them up. Keep them up. Use your chest too. Keep your hips released. Keep it going forward. Take your arms back. Head is forward through the arms. And bring it back up. Very good. Laying back down over your block. Let everything release in your core and spine on the block. Good. Drop your shoulder blades down into the well. You're going to keep that outer spiral in your arms so your biceps face you. Slowly take the arms back. Let the serratus slide up the sides of the ribs, or the shoulder blades slide up the side of the ribs. Reach away. Lift mula bandha, lift low belly. And then feel like you're pushing it out again. Then do again, lift low belly. Good, and then drag the arms up from underneath. Chin down, neck long, serratus pulling. Get rid of your purple ball. Get rid of your black. Hands to your head, kick your head up. Push your bolster forward a little ways. Hop your hips forward about 6 inches. When you do that, the ball's gonna roll up your spine. Leave the ball, leave the ball. Leave the ball. That's how we measure. Up the hips forward, the ball should roll 6 inches up the spine. So if your hips come forward 6 inches, your ball just went up the spine between shoulder blades about 6 inches. Push bolster away again. Okay. Everybody should feel like your shoulder blades are right now more toward the top of the ball. Bring your shoulder blades down to the ball. Lay back over the ball, laying your head back toward the mat. Reach your elbows back. If your head can touch the floor, go ahead and let it reach your arms back. Let the ribs open. This should feel like a good stretch in the upper back, the chest, the shoulders. Breathe. You should feel nothing in low back here. Good. Bring your hands back to your head. Pick up just your head first. Feel like you're hinging from the neck. So raise, pull. Elbows are in your peripheral vision. You should be able to see your elbows at all times. Focus forward. Good. Don't squeeze the chest. That'll be the pecs engaged. But if you open the elbows all the way, that's your back engaged. So right around the sides where you can see your elbows in your peripheral vision, slide them up and forward. Shoulder blades come off the back. And then slide them back down to your ball. Chin in, stretching head and neck. Slowly lay back over the ball. Let your ribs open as you lay back. Lay all the way back. Reach your arms back. Stretch your abdominals. Feel the low belly. Mula bandha lift a little bit. That's it. Bring your hands back to your head first. After you stretch it, you can feel it more. Use your serratus, pulling shoulders down away from yours, and then the head is heavy in your hands, like it's somebody else's head you're pulling up from the serratus, from under the armpits. Once your head is up higher, then your ribs can drop in and your upper back stretches. Keep your pubic bone forward, keep pulling the head forward, but keep your chin tucked back into your own neck. Looks like your chin is trying to reach back to where the wall meets the ceiling behind you, top of the head forward. Tatum. Get that one. Inhale. Exhale, keep pulling the head further forward. Stretch the neck and the upper back. Good. Go ahead and bring your feet to your bolster this time. Push it further down your mat. Good. Up the hips forward. Again, you're going to roll till the ball is really high up on the spine. Good. Hands under the head. Keep the bolster a little bit away from you. Open your feet out to the sides. Let your knees drop open. Good. You're going to lay back over the ball. Reach the elbows back. You should be able to lift and open your ribs. They shouldn't be stuck down. Okay, then you reach your pubic bone forward. Now keeping your ribs open, you can reach arms back if it helps you open the ribs that way. Keeping your ribs open, little pressure in feet, rolls the low belly in and the tailbone under. And then reach pubic bone back forward again. It's just a roll in the hips. Pull and move the bun, the pelvic floor up. To do this, pressure with feet and then reach back forward. Don't close ribs first. Keep your ribs open, low belly draws, just the low abs, and then release it forward. One more time, low belly draws, pressure in feet, and then let it reach forward. Now keep your pubic bone forward, hands come to your head, low back will be off the mat. Bring the head up using the serratus, don't tuck your hips. Keep that pubic bone forward, let your ribs drop down toward the mat instead. Keep pubic bone forward, no tucking. Stretching head forward. Bring the legs in. And then hop forward until the ball is only under the head and neck now. Bring your bolster up to your hips with your feet. The ball is under the head and neck and it's back far enough so that your eyes are gazing forward. You cannot look at your ceiling ears anymore. You have to really push into the ball to get there. Eyes should be gazing forward. Pick up your hips, pull your bolster under the hips, under the sacrum. Okay, and then you can roll your ball back a little further, kind of hop your ribs further back on the mat. Make sure you're rounded in your upper back. Okay, arms up. Bring the legs up, feet up toward the ceiling, legs or hands inside the legs, hands scoop under the heels. Grab your heels with all 5 fingers together, on the heel, the ball of the heel. There we go. Open your feet out to the sides. Good. Elbows open, feel the serratus underneath the armpits, underneath shoulder blades, pulling your elbows out to the sides. Now let go of the right leg. Drop your right leg forward, reach your right arm back. Okay, everybody stop, take your foot to the floor first. Right foot touches the floor. Now slide it out in front of you, keeping it as low as you can. When it straightens, it'll probably come off the floor, or it will, but keep it low. Reach your right arm back. Push the back of the neck into your red ball, getting longer on that right side. Breathe. Okay, slowly bring your right arm up from the serratus, dropping the ribs. Bend the knee, bring it in. There you go. Hand under the heel, hand cups, and with some authority, your hand pulls the heel down. Tip it to the right just a little bit. So that right knee stays on the right side toward the mat, left foot to the mat. Left foot comes to the mat, left arm reaching back. Slide the foot out in front of you. Try to keep it as low as you can when you straighten it. That quad engages just enough to lift the lower leg up. No glute squeeze. You should not feel the buttocks engaged here at all. Okay. Keep the right hand strong. That's your anchor. If I pull harder on my right leg, the left leg will pop up. So I'm trying to hold that right leg in place and reach the left hip away from me. Sink the belly. Good. Slowly bring your left arm up. Lead with the serratus, so underneath the armpit. Palm faces in, palm faces in. There you go. That's the rotation of the shoulder you need. There. Yes. Feel this. And bring it up. That's not good. Bring the knee back. All right. Very nice. Okay. Go ahead and bring your feet forward. Take your ball out from under your head. It should feel pretty good to lay flat now. Okay. Good. Press your bolster down to the tip of your tailbone. So it's just barely under your tailbone, lumbar spine gets to release. Put your feet on the mat. Just drop your right knee across to the left, toward the midline. Yep. And then go the other way. Drop the left knee across to the right, reaching the hip, and then go the other way. As you come through center, let that lumbar spine round, just releasing low back, moving through hips. Good job. All right, and then push your bolster all the way down. Calves on the bolster. Feet should be dangling in the air. Toes facing out. Inner thighs facing the ceiling. Hips totally released. Let's bring the arms up. Drop shoulders to the mat. Slowly lower the arms back, and it's actually gravity that's pulling your arms back. You're resisting that drop with your serratus. Keep your arms outer spiral. That means biceps face you, and that keeps your shoulder in the right direction. If you let it go the other way, it'll pop out. Keep the elbows in. Slowly let the hands drop back. Keep your serratus picking your elbow points to the ceiling. Against that, drop the back of the neck down. Inhale. Exhale, serratus engaged, hands are still floating, sink your low belly. One more breath like that, inhale. Hold. And then as you exhale, slowly drag the arms up from underneath, from the serratus, elbow tips leading, shoulders very open, chest soft, not counter pulling. And then let your arms drop all the way down to the mat, totally release. Inhale, long but soft. Hold the air in at the top of the breath. Soften the chest and shoulders. Let the air leak out incredibly slowly. Eyes roll into the back of the head in the middle of the forehead where the third eye lives. That helps release the muscles in the eyes, the face. Try to feel a spreading across the brow, across the bridge of the nose. Relaxing facial muscles. Let the jaw go. Try to feel a spreading across the base of the tongue, right where it attaches into the skull. There's muscle and bone there. Try to keep pupils fairly still. One more soft but long breath. Letting everything go. Feel the sternum descend away from collarbone. Let the breath come in and out so slow and soft you can barely feel it disturb the body.